Sorry. Hello, A.W.L. Sylvester. This is part 3, talking about my book, The First Mythology. I mentioned Genesis and had an explanation and talked about some of these astrological connections. This time, what I want to talk about is the oven, the so-called oven of the philosophers. They mention mountains, and they also mention little mountains. You can see as we open this up that within there are 4 small pyramids that this egg is sitting on. You can see a cross in there with 4 equal arms. This cross is found throughout alchemy, but no one has ever explained where it came from. This particular egg is sitting on the top of these 4 small ovens. There's 4 small pyramids, and we do that when we are just uniting the substances with the light and vapor. When the light is coming together within the substances and it's being flooded with water, this cross actually makes the river with 4 heads that's mentioned in Genesis. Now, why do I use an egg and why am I using a pyramid? This glass pyramid has a mathematical principle within it which we know of as phi. The egg also has a mathematical principle within it that we know of as phi. They look different, but mathematically they're the same. The thing about phi is everything outside on this planet grows according to phi. Our galaxy is actually shaped according to phi. Everything here, if you wanted to know a principle connected with God, it's phi, because everything grows according to phi. It's built into this shape. It's built into the egg. And I think that there is an energy here. This shape causes to concentrate in the matter. They call it a never-failing circulating oven. When this oven is full of water and sets outside, the hot and the cool, the upper section is cooler, causes condensation, the water runs down, it makes the river with 4 heads. The water feeds the egg and the substances, bringing those things together. When we talk about Genesis on the first day when God created the heaven and the earth, what God created to the ancients was an egg with the substances inside being the earth. He said that heaven and earth was created and earth had no form. Form had to do with an ordered process. That means that the heaven had a form. It has an ordered process because of the shape and because of the mathematical principle. When on the second day God created the firmament, which is what this oven represents, he called the firmament heaven. Well, we already had a heaven with the shell of the egg, and what that's telling you is, though, as I mentioned, the 2 of them look different, but they're the same. Also, we know that in Genesis, the waters had to come together in one place. Now, if I open the oven up here, you can see that there's a lot of little places. But inside the egg is the one place. How can that be the one place? The light can shine through the shell, and because we divide this shell into 2 pieces, the water also can come to the substances on the inside. What alchemy is about is joining the above to the below. So you have to have a place to do that. The above is the light, the below is the substances. There's something about light when it mixes with vapor. Ask a farmer and he'll tell you you can water your garden all week long, but let it rain on it and it'll just grow like a weed. The nitrogen and stuff that's formed, we continuously form within this closed oven, and it's continuously fed to the matters after we work this process, and then it continuously improves and then keeps improving the substance till it becomes perfect. Everything outside has a seed. Our compost doesn't have a seed. This substance doesn't have a seed. But if you read in the alchemy books, they will tell you that the sun was spirit, the sun was masculine, the sun was the seed for gold. what that really means in their understanding, gold was what they considered perfection. Gold was the perfection in the sun. And so the seed that was in the sun that can be imparted to this substance, they considered that a male perfect gold seed, and that this substance would become perfect like that perfection that was found in the sun. All these things can come together within the egg, within the firmament. We can recreate the perfection. We can recreate Genesis. We can do as God did in the creation of the earth. We cannot do it the same way God did it, but by adaptation we can do it and have the same results. That's what the ancients believed. That's what they felt that they had found. That's where our religion, where the stone, where Osiris, astrology, where everything came from. This process and this understanding. Now, I've talked with people about the pyramid ovens before, and they have told me the pyramid does wonderful things. And there are a lot of books out there that you can read, and they will say, well, the pyramid, this, all having to do with seeds and with forces and with growth. But they'll tell you that the pyramid never repeats. What they never concluded in their studies, the pyramid repeats every year at the same time every year, because the pyramid is a lens or a focus for the external forces, and as they repeat every year, they repeat within the oven every year, and so you can recreate whatever your process is every year inside this oven. What makes this work and what makes the Philosopher's Stone possible is, we'll say that the first year we make compost. We keep that compost in our oven. Next year it has to do something to the matter, and so it improves it beyond compost. Now, compost is what happens outside, what happens naturally. This is considered art. It's not what happens naturally, but it's a controlled process, controlling the forces in nature. We perfect the matter, and by perfecting that matter, we have recreated the creation in the different aspects. We have just taken it further. The ancients felt, they found out what God had done, how God did it. They were convinced that man was special, because in all the creation, only man could know these things about God by studying nature. All this information is included in my book. The steps of the stone are included in my book. The connections to the astrological symbols are included in my book. I have a dozen pages of the things the alchemist said included in my book. I have a dozen pictorial allegories, pages that are included in my book. Every bit of this is explained. Every bit of it is tied into the process so that you can understand it. There are libraries in our world full of alchemical books that's never been explained. I want to just say why they haven't been understood. If I was a practicing alchemist and I understood that the stone was made by Genesis, I couldn't go downtown and say, I know the stone's made by Genesis, and draw out several steps about Genesis, and people would accept that. I had to do it in a hidden fashion. Flamel used the tablets of Abraham, and he drew his tablets underneath. They look completely different, but they say the same thing when you understand what they're talking about. Every alchemist that was an alchemist that understood this process redrew Genesis in his fashion, according to his imagination, so that it would explain these steps and have these tie-in to astrology and Osiris. You wouldn't know this unless you knew the process of the stone, and unless you knew the different steps and the different links that I've already mentioned. You couldn't repeat Genesis, but you could repeat Genesis in a hidden fashion. The other thing is, they had to do it in a hidden fashion because this is information the common man could not know. Even, we'll say, the king, if he knew you knew this information and you knew how to make the Philosopher's Stone, he would put you in his dungeon, we'll say, until you divulge the information to him. As this is about the old religion and the old understanding and how to use nature. There were modern day religions that they don't want this information known. Most of it has been forgotten. All the old symbols are in my book. All the old understandings are in my book. Everything's brought together. And if you have this information, you will know it is truth, and you will be able to make the philosopher's stone. Thank you.